So hey guys, I am here with Lindsay Seidel, and we're going to talk about Assassination Classroom, like, for a little bit. Just a little bit.
Woohoo! Hello, everybody!
And then we're going to talk about her for a bit, or she's going to talk about her. I don't know enough about you outside of the work that you've done in voiceover to actually talk about you in that capacity. But yeah.
Right. But you'll learn more today.
We will learn more. Absolutely. So really quickly, just getting into Assassination Classroom off of the bat, what was your first impression when you first read through a script that you got?
Well, so I didn't exactly get to read through anything before I actually came in to record for the first time. But Joel McDonald, who was the director for the first season, who was the one who cast me in it, he told me when I was in with him to record, I think for One Piece, he was telling me, hey, just a heads up, we're going to be casting pretty soon for this show called Assassination Classroom. It's a really, really big deal in Japan. People love it there. So we're really, really excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So just a heads up, we'll probably be contacting you about that soon. I was like, okay, cool. So then I went and I looked it up after he told me. And I was like, oh, this looks like a lot of fun. This looks like it's going to be...
So you were familiar with it before you auditioned?
Well, I didn't audition, actually.
What?
Didn't audition me. No. Yeah. So it's rare that FUNimation does that. I'm not really clear on how they decide when they're auditioning for something and when they're not. And it's also possible that they did hold auditions for certain characters in the show, but not all of them. I'm not sure. But I did not actually audition for the show. So that made it a little trickier in terms of when I came in, and like I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know until I came in to record what character I was playing.
Right. That seems very that would seem very mind blowing to me if I'm coming in and okay, so what character, and then once they tell you what the character's like, then you have to work with the director to find out what kind of voice type they're looking for.
Totally.
Why did they pick you for a specific voice type? It's okay, so you want part of my voice. What part of my voice do you want? So
totally. Yeah.
That can be very tricky. Holy crap.
Yeah. It was definitely intimidating when I came in, because I knew, the email I'd gotten when I came in to record for this first session, I knew that it was for Assassination Classroom, and I had, done some reading about it online, so I knew, the general plot. I knew that it was going to be a really funny show, but other than that, I really didn't know what to expect, and I had no idea which character I was playing, and there were so many characters in the show, too, that I'm I don't know. Have no clue what he's, planning on using me for. So when he told me, when I walked in that I was going to play Nagisa, I could not believe it. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? I am so excited, but also so scared.
Right.
Because, I knew that he was the protagonist of the series, and, I was really nervous that I wasn't going to, do right by the character, because I knew it was a character that was really, really loved in the Japanese. And it was also, that tricky thing of figuring out what kind of voice I would use for the character, because in the Japanese, he pretty much sounds like a girl, just with kind of a, it's obviously he's voiced by a woman in the Japanese as well, but in the Japanese, and I talked with Joel about this. We talked for a little bit when I came in, trying to figure out kind of, how he wanted the voice to sound, because it's up to the director. It's not up to me.
Exactly.
And he was like, I think maybe, I want to try to go a little more masculine than in the Japanese. Obviously not too much, because he's supposed to still be a very feminine character. People mistake him for a girl all the time, and that's obviously a huge part of him as a character. But he's like, in the Japanese, it just straight up sounds like a woman that's not, trying at all to sound like a boy. So he's like, so I kind of want to go somewhere middle of the road. And so we kind of I gave him a few different options on the very first line that I recorded. And, we found the voice that he wanted. And, along the series, I don't know if anybody notices this as they watch, because it's, I think, a gradual change, but if you listen to how my voice sounds in the first episode versus, the very last episode of the second season, the voice I think, deepens as he goes. And I did that intentionally because he matures a lot throughout the show.
Also, you kind of, like, at first, when you're first trying out that voice, it's very new to you and new to your vocals, and it takes you a while to change and adapt and get used to that voice. Especially, a lot of people don't think about this when they're like, oh, cool, I'd love to do what you do. And I'm like, yeah, have you ever tried doing a character voice from the very beginning? It's going to tear your throat up. You're going to feel horrible, and you have to keep doing it until you grow used to it.
Yeah, no, this was definitely, I think, of all the characters I've ever played, this is the one that I felt the most challenging in terms of getting my voice to sound just right. And it was, I think it took until the end of season 1 to where I really actually started to feel comfortable doing it, and I didn't have to work to get there, if that makes sense.
It was very much that way with certain voices that I had to that I started doing that I accidentaled onto.
Yeah.
And so, like, when I first accidentally realized I could do Mark Hamill's Joker, it took me months to get used to that because it wasn't a voice that I'm used to. And, like, I've been doing the voice of Shaggy for a while, just, for lulz. And now I'm streaming video games in character as Shaggy, like scary games.
That's so fun.
And I've got 2 episodes of me playing Resident Evil 7 up, and I got a third one today, but, like, the first time that I did it, doing that voice for a full hour is not something that I'm used to because normally it's like, when I use the Shaggy voice outside of, like, gaming, it's just like a couple of minutes, just a real quick thing. And doing it for prolonged periods of time, it can take a toll on your vocal cords. And
totally.
Even though I had, like, 4 bottles of tea sitting right here because I knew, it's still nuts.
Interestingly, for me, though, I find that doing, like, boy characters is not nearly as straining on my voice as doing teeny tiny girl characters.
Oh, the lower register stuff is easier?
Yeah, well, so here's what's weird. Okay. So if I'm doing a woman character with a lower register voice, that's actually, I find that to be challenging more than anything at this point.
Right.
Like to try and sound like a much older woman, I guess. But as far as what's most straining on my voice, it's when I play like itty bitty girl characters that have really, really high pitched voices. That's where it's like, I can't record for more than 2 hours at a time or voice is shot.
I think that's also part of it with a lot of the voices that I do because they're higher pitched than my natural register. I mean, even this, like the voice that you're hearing me use, this is something that I didn't even realize until much later that I developed shortly after puberty because I have a large family, and if I talk in my natural tone, it's very low, it's very soft, and I'll never be heard during a Thanksgiving or a Christmas dinner.
Oh, I get it, yeah.
So I pitch myself up to this, and I'm able to project more.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been a naturally very loud and animated person, and no doubt that has something to do with my family. So my dad's side is Jewish and my mom's side is Puerto Rican. So we're very loud on both sides.
Oh, there you go, yeah. But no, I realized that's part of it is like as I go into the higher registers, the more of a strain it puts on me. And since my natural voice is actually this is my natural register, I pitch myself up normally. But then, like, when I have to do Shaggy, like, it pitches me up so much higher, and then there's also that little bit of gravel. So, yeah, people don't really think, like, it's not just the fact that you're doing that voice over and over and over again. Right,
and then also, each time you go in for a session, it has to match the way it's
exactly. It is not easy, and it's not fun.
Yeah, so that's why, I mean, for a good while when recording on this show, I'd always ask for a voice reference of how I sounded the previous session before I started recording. I mean, after a little bit, then I, was so used to doing the voice that I didn't need it anymore, but definitely for a while I would always need that voice reference to make sure I was matched. But it's funny, if I ever came in with like a bit of a sore throat or a little bit of a cold, a lot of times it was helpful with, with the type of voice I was doing. And, you'll hear that from plenty of female voice actors when it comes to doing boy voices. It's like, yes, if you wake up with a little bit of extra scratch in your throat that day.
It just makes it a little bit easier. It's like, oh, yay, this is going to be natural this time.
Exactly. You don't even have to force it. It just comes out that way.
Now, Assassination Classroom happens to be one of the few anime series that that follows the manga completely. Like, both seasons is completely in line with the manga. So now, you know, having had the experience of getting the full story from both seasons, what did you think of how it turned out, and what were some of the surprises that you were like, wait, what? We're doing that?
Well, gosh, this show is full of a lot of surprises. I have not read the manga, so for me, the
anime is basically the manga. There's no difference in the story whatsoever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really one of those rare moments when that happens.
Yeah. So, but since I hadn't read it before going in and recording, and I haven't read it at all still, but I let the whole show surprise me. Every time I come in to record, I didn't know what was going to happen next. So that kept it really fun for me. But, you know, going in, I was under the impression, you know, especially with the first few episodes, that this was just going to be a really fun, you know, silly show. And I think what surprised me the most, and what I ended up really loving most about the show was how heartfelt it ended up being. And there were so many moments throughout the show that just really touched me, honestly, in no way that any other anime that I've watched has done. Like, you know, if you talk to any of the voice actors and recording, you know, toward the end there where it started getting really emotional. I mean, most of us actually were crying in the booth.
Like, no, Sonny, don't go.
Yeah, because we got, you know, it was like you get so attached and, you know, not just to the characters that we're playing, but to the other characters in the show. And it's, so that's, I think, really what surprised me the most was, how heartfelt the show ended up being. And I thought that they did such a beautiful job, the writers, of, you know, melding those two, you know, feels of, you know, it's silly and it's funny and it's got plenty of those moments, but it's also, you know, sweet and heartfelt and emotional. And, you know, I think it's hard to marry those two, you know, sides of things, but I thought that they did a really nice job of that.
The ending definitely felt a little bittersweet in how it was done. And it's so often that you see, like, so many other shows that get their happily ever after ending, and then to have one that's like bittersweet and is like, no, this is, even though it's ridiculously over the top with this character of Koro-sensei, it's still pretty much grounded in reality. So, you know, not everything's going to go the way you hope it does.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, while I didn't know what was going to happen, I also felt like, you know, there's really no other way that the show could have ended for it to have been, you know, right. So, yeah. It was, but it sure was an emotional end there.
Oh yeah, I think probably the one regret I had was that Nagisa and Monica's character didn't get together.
Oh right.
that was the one ship I was sailing.
Yeah, they definitely teased us all with that the whole way through, and then never actually.
Especially with that kiss, like, later on in the second, it's like, wow, you did a 15-hit combo on that poor girl.
Yeah, no, I get that. Understand.
But I also kind of like where Nagisa ended up, because becoming a teacher, and then, like, this high school full of punks, and they're going to sit there and threaten Nagisa. Nagisa's like, really? You're going to threaten me? Please.
Yeah, you know nothing.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I loved that that's what he ended up doing, because he clearly, you know, was just, Koro-sensei as a teacher had such an impact on his life. And,
he really did.
You know, and him maturing and figuring himself out and who he really was. And I just love that he was so inspired by that he wanted to do the same thing, you know, for kids. So I love that so much. My heart just swelled.
Also, as it turns out, there is an Assassination Classroom live-action movie in Japan.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, I didn't see the movie, but I saw that was the case.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, when do we get that? When do we get that? I will say this, when it comes to Assassination Classroom, Sonny probably had the easiest job because his character had no lip flaps.
Oh, God, yes.
I imagine the animators were very happy about that, too.
Yeah, we talked about that frequently. I was like,
Sonny's
not
got
fair.
the easy job.
His sessions don't take nearly as long.
Or like if you end up with a character that has like a mask or like their mouth is covered, like that's got to be a fun day for you.
Yeah, no, I've had that before, and it's been really nice. Like in Tokyo Ghoul, my character, at least for part of the time, wore a mask, so that was really nice.
Speaking of Tokyo Ghoul, at least blending Tokyo Ghoul a little bit with Assassination Classroom, how does it feel to be able to tell people that you have beaten Austin Tyndall in a knife fight?
Well, I mean, it's pretty cool, but to be honest, like I think if we were to fight in real life, I think I might win.
There you go. How many techniques have you learned from studying Assassination Classroom?
Exactly, right? Yeah, I mean, I was the best assassin in the class, so.
Right? You were so close to making a career out of it, and then you were like, nah, teacher.
Yeah.
Teacher. I think society will accept teacher.
Yeah, because even though Nagisa can be terrifying, at the end of the day, he's just a sweetheart.
Right. So moving away from Assassination Classroom and voiceover for now, wanted to get a little bit more info about you, just kind of getting to know you.
Sure.
So I guess we'll start off with the most generic. What's your favorite food?
Cheese. I love cheese.
And they wonder why it is that we test on mice before we move on to human subjects. It's like, that's the reason why they're like, oh no, mice don't have anything in common with humans. Please. You know how many people just their favorite thing is cheese?
Yeah.
No,
I
don't
adore cheese. I'm sorry to all you vegans out there, but I really, really love cheese. The only cheese I don't like is American cheese. Like Kraft singles type situation, because that's not real cheese.
You're like, I want actual cheese, not this processed, flat stuff.
Yeah, but
give me some real cheddar.
Yeah, I love putting cheese on anything that's not dessert. I like to.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever put cheese on dessert.
No.
That'd be that just seems awkward.
Some Italian desserts have like ricotta or something like that, but
I guess that's probably.
But yeah, no, generally speaking, yeah. But yeah, I love like macaroni and cheese. That's, always great. Yeah.
Have you had Ian Sinclair cook for you yet?
Oh, I have not.
I have heard so many people at Funimation tell me that Ian is an amazing cook. In fact,
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Tyler was joking about that. Tyler Walker,
Uh-huh.
he was joking about that because he directed him for Toriko, and Ian played the character of Toriko, and he was like, it's kind of funny because it's the actual opposite in real life. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, he doesn't run around and go catching food. He's the chef. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, he can cook. And I'm like, oh, now I'm really interested. So it's like, at this point, I have to go. Yeah. Now I have to come and visit just to get Ian to cook a meal.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Forget visiting Funimation. Where's Ian's kitchen?
Yeah, where's the food?
But yeah, so if there's a story that pops up from anything that we talk about, feel free to share.
Okay, yeah, I will.
I don't have like a list of questions, so at this point it's just kind of like whatever pops into my head first is kind of what I'll ask.
That works for me.
Okay.
As we go, I promise if I think of any stories, I will make sure to bring it up.
What is like your favorite hobby to do outside of acting?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I love sleeping. Sleeping is probably one of my very favorite activities. I'm a big napper.
We're gonna be buddies. Cheese and naps. We
are
buddies.
That's really what I'm all about. No, but
I'm making so many friends that are just like me. I'm like, wow, my parents have been yelling at me for a long time to move to Texas. Apparently, all the people that all the people that are like me live in Dallas-Fort Worth area. I need to apparently move. Naps and cheese. I'm all about this.
Yeah, totally. No, but I enjoy reading a lot. And in terms of acting, I don't, just do voice acting. I do on-camera stuff as well.
I do a lot of improv and stage.
Oh, cool. So, yeah. And so it's strange. My background in acting is not the typical one, because I did not start in theater. I have virtually no experience in theater, and that's usually where people start, understandably. But I started acting when I was about 10 years old, and I was begging my mom to put me in acting classes, and she finally relented and put me in a class, and the class that she happened to put me in was acting for the camera. And so because that was the first class that I took, that was just kind of the path that I went on. And so I continued taking acting for film classes, and I signed on with a talent agency here in Dallas. And, from there on out worked, all throughout, middle school, high school, college, just outside of school. I did, both on-camera stuff and voiceover work, as well. And actually my very first acting job was a voiceover job, and coincidentally it was for Japanese textbooks. Yep. It was the tape that the students in Japan would listen to with the textbook. And English textbooks, obviously. I don't know Japanese. And so I remember I was 11 years old, and that was my very, very first job, and it was really fun because I got, saying things that you would, very simple sentences, that you would assume would be in language textbook. So it's like saying things like, "What did you have for lunch? I had miso soup."
Oh my God. See, those textbooks bother me a little bit because a lot of things because I've had to study at least 2 different languages outside of English. A lot of the conversations that they have in the textbooks are not things that you would ask or talk about in real life. And I'm like, these are not situations I would find myself in.
It's so true, yeah.
Can you put the phrase in, "Please don't rob me"? I feel like that's more applicable.
Yeah. And they had these weird specifications too, on how they wanted us to pronounce certain things, because they wanted us to incorporate some more, British or English, I guess, pronunciations. It was mostly they wanted an American accent, but I specifically remember there was a bit in the book where it was supposed to be a dialogue between Harry Potter and Hermione. And so I was doing the voice of Hermione, and they didn't want a straight-up English accent. They wanted it to pretty much just, be an American accent to stay consistent with the rest of the textbook. But I remember this was so strange. They wanted me to pronounce Harry with an English accent, so they wanted me to say Harry, but then they wanted me to say Potter.
Potter.
So it was
Harry
really challenging to switch, right? In the middle of the name, they wanted me to say...
Because, the thing that America is known for is Hogwarts.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to say, "Hi, I'm Hermione Granger. You must be Harry Potter." So it sounded so weird.
Oh, that makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, it made my skin crawl too.
So
It was really weird.
So weird.
Yeah, it was super weird.
I guess I'm kind of similar to you in that way, because I didn't think about it, as far as my acting career, I didn't think about it until you said something like, I didn't do stage until I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I started off, and again, this is mostly due to my mother, I started off as a child model for Precious Moments, and then she put me in the Nashville Children's Choir.
Oh.
And so, I mean, it was really weird for me because, you're in Nashville and it's all music, and so most of the people they're going to bring in are country people.
Yes.
And I can't stand country, so I'm just like, I'm just really, really grateful that I don't sing anything with a twang.
Yeah. I didn't know you were from Nashville. It's actually technically where I'm living right now. Yeah. So I lived in Dallas my whole life up until 2 years ago. when I got married and I moved to Nashville because my husband is in medical school over there.
Over at Vanderbilt?
Yep, at Vanderbilt. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's got one more year to go, and then we are very much hoping that he will match for residency back in Dallas so that I can continue working.
I'm feeling a little let down by the Nashville cons here that I haven't seen you at. Like, they could have easily got you to the con.
Well, I actually tried contacting them.
Like a KaiCon and MTech?
Yeah, and I didn't get a response, so I don't know if I didn't have the right contact information or what. Yeah, because I hope to go, because I'm in Dallas right now. Yeah. And I've been here for the past couple months because my husband was doing you're not interested in this, but in medical school you can do away rotations at other schools. So he's doing, since we're hoping to move here, he's trying to make connections here. So we've been here for the past couple months, but I'll be back in Nashville in July, and then we'll be there.
I went to school for I was supposed to go for game design, and it ended up getting canceled.
Oh no!
But it got shut down across the country except for California and New York, and I'm like, I can't afford to live in those places.
Oh God, I know, right?
Yeah. So I'm like going, okay, I've got like I'm more or less a design major at this point, so believe me, I understand networking because that's all design is. Like, if you don't have contacts in a network that you've set up there, it's terrible.
Totally.
Man. Yeah, no, I get that. I don't live in Nashville now, but I'm about an hour and a half away.
Oh, okay,
but you're
still in Tennessee though?
Yeah, we're still in Tennessee.
Cool.
We had to move out about 3 years ago, and we're trying to get back at some point.
Yeah.
But I used to live over in Hermitage, so.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
One of the nicer areas that isn't overly expensive.
Yeah, gosh. Seriously, yeah, that was something that actually really surprised me upon moving there, was that the cost of living was so much higher than Dallas, which, I don't know, I didn't know what to expect, but...
Well, it is the capital, so...
Yeah, that's true.
A little bit there, plus they're expanding out.
Right.
We've gone a little bit further than I expected to go with, but it's nice to know that we can at least talk about some things that we have common ground in. Nashville.
Yeah.
Cheese. Naps.
Yeah.
So much common ground here.
So much common ground.
But, I was in the Nashville Children's Choir.
That's so cool.
I was there from, 5 to, 8, and then my mother had me in a Captain D's commercial when I was 7.
Huh.
Yeah, it was a little on-camera work, but I didn't have any speaking lines, so I was like, yeah. I didn't realize that I could do voices. Well, I mean, I'd been imitating characters and stuff, but I'd never purposefully done it.
Sure.
And it always just been, yeah. And I didn't actually realize I could do it until I was about 12, and the first thing I immediately did was use my powers for evil. So, yeah. Well, okay, a kid tried to prank call me when I was about 12, and then I pretended to be the Crypt Keeper's answering machine.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, and I said, leave your message after the scream, and my brother's 5 years old, and I put the receiver to his mouth, and then I purple nurpled him, and he screamed like a little girl, and I put the receiver back, and they're just like, sorry, wrong number, click.
That's so funny.
That is how I learned to do voices for the first time.
That's so funny. Yeah, I've never actually, I can't think of an instance where I've ever, pranked anyone using my voices.
Which is funny because, you don't realize until you start thinking about pranks and stuff, until you consciously start doing it, how much fun you could have at a drive-thru.
Oh, that's true. Well, okay, what I have done at a drive-thru was after doing an on-camera project where I was, I had fake blood all over my face and a big gash. I did go through a drive-thru like that.
That's great.
That was pretty funny, especially since I was in the car by myself too. So it's not like I even had someone with me who could be long or whatever. I just looked terrifying. And when I pulled up to the window, the guy who was there got one look at me and refused to look me in the, he just didn't know what to do because I was acting totally straight. There was nothing weird going on. I didn't address the situation at all because I just like wanted to see what would happen. And he just wouldn't look at me and tried to get me my stuff as quickly as possible and get me right on out of there as quickly as he could.
That is great.
Because it was also nighttime. Yeah, so
better.
it was probably pretty scary for him. But
when the crazies all come out.
Yeah, and I remember also when I was driving the car that same night, there was a car that had pulled up next to me at a stoplight, and the guy, like, you know, glanced over and I could see in my mirror. He looked terrified and then immediately, like, rolled up his window and kept inching forward as much as possible. You know, the light was red, but he was, like, trying to just scooch as far away from me as possible. And then, of course, as soon as the light turned green, he just, like, zoomed off.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's just wonderful.
Pretty fun night.
I would have so much fun with that.
Yeah, I wish I'd done more with it. Like, I should have, you know, kept it on and, like, gone to the mall the next day. Because I've had some pretty crazy makeup experiences for various on-camera projects. There was another one. There was a Service King commercial that I was in, and I played a clown. And so I was in full clown makeup. And I don't think I did end up going anywhere in public after that. I totally should have just, like, gone to the grocery store or something, because it looked so ridiculous. But I think I just went home because that was, like, I think I was starting to get, like, a rash from it because that makeup was really, really thick and, like, caked on. And I think I had to, my dad is...
And those take forever to remove, too.
Yeah,
like, the more it's caked up, like, a week later, you're still finding, like, little bits of makeup. And it's like, what?
Yeah, well, I had
Go away.
My dad's a doctor, and I, like, could not scrub it off. And so he suggested he had some, like, really heavy-duty adhesive remover that's used for, like, surgical bandaging.
Oh, God.
So he got me some of that, and that took it off. But
so
but
your dad's a doctor and your husband's a doctor.
Yeah.
If you get sick, you're okay.
Oh, yeah, and my sister's a doctor, too. So I'm like...
And you're an actress.
Yeah, exactly. I was definitely the odd one out, for sure. Although I still consider myself to, like, be a nerd, even though I have, like, a creative side. I definitely, in school and stuff, I was very, very focused in school. My grades were very important to me. When I went to college, I double majored in marketing and psychology, so I didn't even study acting in school.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, I didn't exactly want to become a doctor because that I don't think I have the temperament for in terms of.
My mother is a teacher, and having seen her life for, you know, the time that I spent with her growing up, made me realize very quickly I do not want to become a teacher. Yeah.
But, you know, interestingly, so I just have one sibling, my sister, who is a doctor now, but growing up, my parents always thought, like, if one of us was going to be a doctor, that it would be me, because I was always the one that, like, loved the blood and guts. I would love going with my dad to the hospital, and, like, I would watch him do spinal taps and stuff like that, and I just, like, loved it. Whereas my sister got really grossed out by everything. But then as we got older, the main reason I did not want to become a doctor is because I did not want to have to go through medical school.
No, I understand that. I very much understand that.
Right. I don't have the dedication or the attention span to be able to study for that many hours on end for that many years.
Preach, sister, preach.
Yeah, totally. Like, honestly, just even watching my husband do it stresses me out.
As ADHD as I am, there's no way I could survive medicine.
No, yeah, no, me either. Yeah. No. Wouldn't have worked out well for me. So I took an alternate path. But you know what's funny is after I graduated from college, I actually had a job waiting for me at JCPenney Corporate to be a business analyst. And that's what I was going to do. And the reason why, and I was going to kind of just give up the acting thing for a little bit, was because up until that point, I'd only ever done acting part-time because I'd been in school full-time up until that point. So it was really something I just did, like, after school.
Right.
So I was under the impression that there was just no way that I was going to be able to do that full-time and actually make a living doing it. And so I was like, well, so I'm going to put my, business major to good use. And so I went through this, very rigorous interviewing process at JCPenney Corporate and got hired on as a business analyst. And I started soon after graduating, and I quit within 3.5 weeks of working there because I was so miserable and I hated it so much. Like, you know what? I'm going to just try to do this acting thing full time. I've never tried it. Maybe I'll be able to do it and be able to, make a living from it. I have never tried doing it full time before. So I gave it a shot and I somehow was able to make it work.
I very much know that feeling.
It's scary at first, for sure.
I have stated that on several occasions to, mostly to family members who are mad at me because, I don't have like an actual appropriate job like the rest of what a society deems appropriate. And my thing is, I go, look, if I were to be stuck at a desk or a cubicle just typing away, like, not only would that be beyond boring, but it would be like 5 levels of asinine, and with my ADHD, that would literally be hell. And I would do everything I could to escape from hell.
Totally.
And so they were like, oh, so you just end up killing yourself? I go, oh, God, no. I'm far too narcissistic to kill me. I love me way too much. Everybody else would be dead. But,
yeah, exactly.
So either I could be poor and barely struggling to survive, or and happy with what I do,
right?
Or I can be financially secure and ready to murder every single person.
Right. No, totally. And it was interesting because, the job itself of what I was doing there was basically just working with a lot of numbers, and I don't mind that. I like working with numbers. What it was is that corporate environment was just, it was eating my soul.
Right. No, that's exactly why I can't do those kind of jobs. Like, I feel like there's a certain type of person and a certain type of temperament that is required for those jobs, and I know myself well enough to know that I do not fit that category.
No, I quickly learned that I did not fit that category.
I knew very early on that I can't. No, I probably. My mom says that I could have been a really good politician because I like to argue.
Yeah, same here.
And I go, Mom, no, you see, the thing is, I couldn't be a good politician. She goes, why? I was like, because I win my arguments.
Yeah. That's funny.
So, yeah.
No, I feel like...
And my mom's incredibly smart, and, as a teacher, her being a teacher was the bane of my existence because she was always getting on my case when she could immediately pick up on when I was trying to slack off and just not do school stuff because I didn't wanna. Oh, that's the worst. It's so the worst. But I feel like the level of intelligence and the level of education that I have is very much due to her and how she raised me.
Yeah.
Because even when I got away from her, I couldn't quit doing the stuff that the thought process.
Yeah, she'd instilled in you, yeah.
Yeah, I was just, I can't, damn it, Mother, I can't get away from you.
No, but that seems pretty great. Really, who to make a better parent than a teacher, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Totally.
And I've got music on both sides of my family, so that slams down on it entirely. Like, I have music and I have acting in my blood, and writing apparently too. So I'm like, awesome. Wow, yeah.
So do you still consider yourself to be a singer?
I do. I don't sing as much anymore. In high school, I was in choir, I was in band, I was in, I still kept with that, but I found that one of the things that I always do when I try on a new voice, well, I'll keep doing it to the point that it doesn't hurt anymore, and then when I get to the point where it starts to feel comfortable on my vocal cords, I'll sing in that voice.
Yeah.
So I've sung as Stitch, I've sung as Smeagol, I've sung as the Joker, as Shaggy. I tried to sing as Morty from Rick and Morty. Morty's a terrible singer, absolutely terrible. I just tried to do the ABCs and it was horrible. I was like, yeah, never doing that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will generally try to sing, and I like to sing a lot. In fact, since you brought up music, I just have to point out really quickly, I'm sorry, I have a chicken attack stuck in my head because I just watched that today, and like a friend was like, how have you not seen this? And it's this Japanese dude that can yodel. Like, I knew about the Japanese yodel guy.
Yeah.
Like, I knew about that. But I didn't know that he did a thing with Shmoyoho or the Gregory brothers. The dudes the guys that do auto-tune.
Oh, right.
Ears.
Yep.
Yeah. And so they did this music video, or they did this thing where they're going to, like, different areas in the Asia Pacific area kind of thing. And they're grabbing up different people to do stuff with. And so they got the Japanese yodeler, and they made this silly video about this guy who has a chicken, and he can throw this chicken out, and it'll turn into a white ninja that has, like, a little chicken head cover thing on it. And then he starts fighting, and I'm just like, it's the silliest thing, but God, the song is so damn catchy. Oh, if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I have not, so I'm going to have to look it up now.
Oh, it's just called Chicken Attack.
Okay, got it.
It's called Chicken Attack, and it's adorable.
I'm going to definitely look that up today.
Yeah. And so that song's been stuck in my head this whole time, so I'm just sitting here trying to, like, focus on the interview. Chicken Attack. No!
That's so funny. Well, I am jealous that you can sing, because I definitely do not consider myself to be a singer.
Honestly, there's certain voices that I think I can sing better in than I naturally can sing.
Yeah.
But, no, I just enjoy singing. Music's always been a big thing. Most of my family members that heavily influenced me with music, and, you know, I grew up around that and, around them doing music and stuff like that, sadly are no longer with me. But, I mean, I do a lot of things that I can to kind of carry on sort of that memory of them.
That's nice.
My dad passed when I was 10.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's been 20 years. I've coped.
Yeah. Still though, that's
I was gonna say I've gotten over it, but no, you don't get over it.
No, you don't get over that. Yeah.
But one of the things I remember is because my father was a band director. He sang in choir and stuff like that. But like when I was visiting him, because my parents divorced when I was 3, when I was visiting him, I remember him playing the piano a lot. And so when he passed, one of the things that I did was I started learning piano. And of course, I didn't really know a lot about piano. The first thing I played was chopsticks because the movie Big was big at that time. So I just remember them dancing on that piano doing chopsticks and all that. So that's what I learned to play. And my grandfather was the band director for high school for a while, and he was the choir director at church, and you know, he played piano and all sorts of different instruments. And so I ended up getting into band when I was 5th grade, and they said my ears were really good, so they put me down on the trombone. I hated the trombone. I wanted to play something cool, you know, because that was the time I was starting to discover, oh, girls aren't gross. You know?
What a time.
It's like, wait a minute, girls aren't gross. They're actually pretty cute.
What instrument will impress them?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, drum, saxophone, what can I do, you know?
That's so funny.
I'll take the trumpet. You gave me the trombone.
I played the clarinet for a hot minute.
Yeah, there you go. My brother played clarinet. My little brother played clarinet, yeah. Yeah,
just for like a couple of years, and then I got tired of that. But but then I took guitar lessons for a little while. I played guitar a little bit.
I've had friends teach me some guitar a bit, so I know like a couple of chords and stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I can't jam out with a power ballad if that's what.
Me either. All I remember now, because it's been years, I can remember some chords. But that's about it. My husband, on the other hand, he's a huge guitar guy. He plays all the time, and he like writes his own music and stuff. That's kind of his thing on the side that he does when he's, not busy from medical school.
You set me down in front of a piano, and I can start plugging away at stuff, but I can't read piano sheet music.
Oh yeah, no, my husband can't read sheet music either, actually.
And so anything that I'm playing, I've more or less learned by ear and through repetition.
Right.
So Fur Elise, Moonlight Sonata, and then of course there's a sprinkling of like different anime theme songs. Like I know how to play Sailor Moon. Like I taught myself to play Sailor Moon. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that like I do, and then I started this thing. I'm not trying to plug stuff that I'm doing. I'm not. It just leads into the same talking point.
Sure.
But I started this thing called OTP Manga, which is a group of different writers and artists and people trying to break into the professional voiceover scene that I've heard them do stuff, and they are talented and they can act, which is the most important part.
Yes.
But we're trying to create basically our own visual manga kind of thing, and kind of like web comics, but at the same time we dub it and we'd score it and everything.
Oh,
So
cool. That's so
in the process of putting everything together, I've worked with another friend of mine who lives in Brooklyn, and we've been composing like soundtracks and stuff. So I've finally gotten into actually writing songs, even if what I'm doing is just laying down like a completely base thing to start off of, he can build off of and make it sound a lot more epic, or add more instruments to it and put his little touch on it. Like, it's just, some of those things are just really fun. And sometimes I just basically take a song that gets stuck in my head, a little earworm there, and then I go, okay, now how can I pull this all apart and take like maybe 2 things from it that I really, really like that work, and then make a completely new song then.
That's so cool. I wish I'm musically talented in that way. But I'm not. I mean,
Believe it or not, what I do, even though people think it's like, oh my god, it must be amazing, it's like, dude, what I do takes maybe 2 fingers. It's 2 fingers on a keyboard, and it's understanding timing. And if you dub anime, you understand timing.
I guess that's true, yeah.
You have a natural rhythm to you.
That's a good point, yeah.
There's a lot of things that voice actors and musicians have a lot of things in common, which is why you end up seeing a lot of voice actors who are also musicians.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And I mean, and I say I'm not a singer. I mean, I'm not the worst. I can carry a tune. I've had to, on occasion, sing little things here and there, in various anime shows, but, I ask them specifically, like, please don't ever cast me in anything that's like, you know, specifically supposed to be like a singing role, cause I don't feel comfortable with that.
So you're not trying to be in a musical anytime soon?
Certainly not, no.
So it's like, no Broadway for you?
No, definitely not, no, cause I mean, you know, I say like, people assume I must be just god awful since I say like, oh, I can't sing, but it's really more so that I haven't been trained in it at all.
You know what? Now I'm kind of really curious. I'd love to, if I ever get the chance, if I ever move down, because my parents already know that if I move down to Texas, I'm going to be in either Austin or Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah.
What I want to do now is I just want to do a FUNimation version of Carpool Karaoke.
That'd be really fun.
That'd be really fun, and it's just like one of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that no matter who they are, there's gonna be one Avenue Q song that they have to sing.
That's great.
Yeah, because Avenue Q or anything from the Buffy musical episode, immediately I'm gonna be singing that. Like immediately, there's no helping it. I can't.
Yeah, but I think the one talent that I do really wish I had was I wish that I was just like this naturally really amazing singer.
I don't think I'm naturally amazing. I had to work really hard to get to where I am. And
right,
I think
that's
I'm
what I'm
only
saying.
like,
I don't want to have to work at it.
I think I'm just meh, and I've had
amazing.
The only reason it sounds like I'm good now is because of all the training I had at such an early age.
Right,
so.
right.
So if it sounds like
there are
I
those
can...
people, you know, that are just like haven't had, you know, ever a lesson, but they just like sound amazing when they sing.
Yeah, I know, right?
And it's
I'm
like,
so freaking jealous of those people.
Yeah.
It's like, you haven't busted your butt in this scene trying to do...
Yeah. I'm always very envious of people's that.
I know I have to go into like a very deep falsetto to hit the same notes, but I love singing along to like freaking Panic at the Disco.
Yeah.
Brennan Urie, there's no way I could match him in his vocal range, but if I go into like a really... I have to delve deeply into my falsetto range, but I can kind of catch him.
Well, hey, I mean, that's pretty good.
What was the song that he sang when he got engaged to his now wife, "Death of a Bachelor"? I love that song. Because it starts off very low, and you could tell he's not used to like lower register stuff. But he's trying to emulate oh god, really famous singer. Trying to think.
That guy, that guy.
Fly me to the moon and let me play
I know you're
amongst the stars.
On the name.
Damn it! I keep thinking Dean Martin, but that's not the name. It's not
close
Dean
enough.
Martin. Anyway, he was doing an homage to that, and it was really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, Death of a Bachelor, I love it because he's like a lifetime of laughter at the expense of a death of a bachelor. And I'm like, yeah, in a way that is marriage, yeah.
In a way.
In a way. A lifetime of laughter at the expense of a death of a bachelor.
It's true.
Okay, yeah, that's not untrue.
Right. It is accurate.
And so, yeah. Oh, bringing it back to anime really quickly, I'm curious, have you seen any of the music videos or stuff that fans have put together for Assassination?
No, I didn't even know they existed.
Oh, yes, there are. In fact, there's one for Warriors by the song Warriors from Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No,
they used clips from season 2 when they're doing the classroom fight as to whether they want to save or kill Koro Sensei. Oh, I'm gonna go find that and link that to you. Right now. Yes.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good ones out there. Just type in Assassination Classroom AMV and you'll find it. Oh my God, they did. Honest Trailers just dropped another one 2 hours ago, and this is for the live-action Beauty and the Beast, which I can't watch that Honest Trailer because I haven't seen that movie yet.
No, I haven't either.
Like, I want to watch the Honest Trailer, but they're going to spoil stuff for me.
I'm always really behind on watching things.
There's certain ones that I've seen. One of the cool things I like about the area of Tennessee that we live at right now is there's a mom and pop theater, like a tiny mom and pop theater about 5 minutes from us, and on the weekends their matinee price for adults are $5.
Oh, nice.
$5 a ticket, and I'm just like, yeah.
That's so nice.
If it wasn't like an hour and a half away, I'd be like, hey, why don't you all come down? We'll make a movie night.
Gosh, that's so nice. Yeah, no, that's not how much the tickets cost in Nashville.
Oh, I'm aware. I've been saying for a while that when we finally get a day where neither of us is doing anything, I need to drive back up there with our dog Toby and take him running around the Parthenon again.
Yeah. What kind of dog is Toby?
He is a Beagle Hound mix. Yeah. Because he's taller than a beagle, but he's got, like, the very beagle facial features. So. No, I'm familiar with that area because across the street from the Parthenon where they have that kind of, like, strip mall kind of outlet area with the bookstore, and they've got a P.F. Chang's or something over there.
Right, yep.
That bookstore is where I used to go to collect all my manga and everything.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. My manga and my Star Wars novels, because I read the hell out of the Star Wars EU. I read the hell out of the Star Wars EU. I am fine admitting that. I have no problems with that. I'm like, you don't like Star Wars? Well, you don't know good literature.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who straight up is like, I don't like Star Wars, though. Have you?
Yes, I have.
Really?
I have. Mm-hmm.
Oh. You'd think that people would be afraid of admitting that, though.
Nope. Actually, most of the people that I've met, they are very, very proud of their hatred of Star Wars.
Really?
I'm like, why? Okay, first off, why would you be proud of your hatred and then stop? Just calm down.
Yeah, it's something that's, I think just part of being human. We have a tendency to like to do that. To be happy in our hatred of something.
But moving away from that, there is the AMV I was sending you, and
oh, perfect.
Yes.
Thanks for that.
You're gonna like that one because it's very much you get Nagisa very little in it, but the few times that you get him is like basically the most badass moments he has in that third act.
Have you seen any that feature Kunadon?
I don't know if I've seen any that feature Kunadon.
That would really be gold.
Okay, Assassination Classroom AMV Kunadon. Okay, gotta look for that. Kunadon.
Because Kunadon, I think, is like my favorite part of the show.
Because I don't think, honestly, the main characters, generally Karma and Nagisa, are the most popular, so they're going to be the
Understandable.
ones that most people know about. Oh, the other one, Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. That one, even though that one's about Karma, I just love the fact that, like one of the lines, I think it's in the chorus, it actually talks about Karma and how they're coming to collect, and I'm like, that sounds exactly like the character Karma. Yeah, no problem whatsoever on that. This fits completely. And let me see if I can find the chicken one, just to send you that. Oh, there it is. Chicken Attack.
I have so many things to watch now. I've got some homework for later today.
You're gonna have fun with it.
Yeah.
These are all really goofy things, and they're all like only
perfect. No, I'm excited.
The other thing that I'll probably want you to check out later is we just got a Rift.tv account, which means we can stream ourselves watching an anime, and because we're working with Verve, and Verve has us, if we're able to watch things on Verve, well, we can watch Funimation stuff, we can watch Crunchyroll stuff. So what we're going to do is, I want to see, I'd love this as we're expanding, because Fairy Tail itself is actually about to end in like a couple of months. The manga's going to be over. So it's going to be ending, and we're just like, we're keeping the Fairy Tail podcast name, but we're just going to cover as much stuff as we want.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we want to do, we want to watch these shows live and have like an audience come in and talk with us. But another thing that I think would be really cool is having like maybe the cast come in and check out somebody watching like something that they've worked on for the first time. And apparently we have a lot of people that have not watched Assassination Classroom. So
these people.
So what it is I'm probably gonna have to hit you up on Twitter or something. So
sure, yeah.
I'll need to find you on Twitter.
Yeah, my Twitter handle is Severely Lindsay.
Severely Lindsay.
Yes, and it's Lindsay spelled with an A.
All I had to do was start typing in severe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I start typing in severe, and there you go. Oh, I love your banner because it's all of you just making funny faces.
Thanks. Yeah, that was actually, I probably should update that because that's really old. I'm really, I have to be honest, I'm really, really bad at social media.
It's okay.
I do not stay on top of it at all.
Well, okay. I will email you when I know that when I know somebody's going to be watching Assassination Classroom.
Okay, cool.
I will email you, and I'm going to try and get a hold of, in fact, you said Joel McDonald directed, right?
He directed the first season.
Okay, who directed the second season?
Afia Yu, or as she's also known, Ayu.
Oh, Ayu.
Yeah. Or as Afia, I keep forgetting. Yeah, no, she's known in the outside world as Ayu.
Micah's wife?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, that's why. Okay, I saw them at Anime Blast. That's the other thing I'll do. I'm actually going to contact the people at Anime Blast Chattanooga to see if they can get you in.
Please do, because I would love to go.
There's two big reasons to want to go to Chattanooga. Number one, the Chattanooga Aquarium.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Oh,
cool.
By the way, they changed locations, so they're not at the Chattanooga Convention Center. They're in a much better area. They're at the Chattanooga Choo Choo Hotel. Yeah, they actually have the Choo Choo. They actually have like train cars and stuff out there that you can dine in.
No way.
But and here's the most important part. The most important part is, and this is a thing that I recommend that anybody that goes to Chattanooga must do, City Cafe Diner. Whether you go there in person or you order something from them, City Cafe Diner. If you like desserts, do you like cake?
I love cake. You know what? I take back the cheese thing. Cake is my favorite.
You're going to love City Cafe Diner. You're going to love City Cafe Diner.
Cake is, I love cake so much.
they have regular cakes, they have cheesecakes, they have all sorts.
Oh no, forget cheesecake. I need straight up cake. Cake.
Oh, they have straight up cake. They have straight up cake.
Yeah. No, I get like a little bit disappointed with any dessert other than cake because I just am eating it wishing that it was cake.
I will straight up say that their cake prices are on the high side.
That's okay.
But that's because one slice is basically one slice is huge.
Honestly,
and they have
I am willing to splurge.
They have a large selection of cakes. Okay, so the menu and the prices and stuff are a little on the higher side. Like they're not like fancy, like the super fancy restaurant levels of high.
Sure.
But I mean, they're like for a sit down restaurant, they're more like, I guess you could say like Applebee's or Chili's kind of prices.
Okay.
But unlike Applebee's and Chili's, you're gonna get a large portion of what you eat, of what you order. What you get is going to be filling. There's going to be plenty of it. It's going to taste good, and then they're going to ask you if you want dessert, and you're going to be like,
and you say, yes.
Yes. But yeah, there's the menu. It's a 24-hour diner.
Amazing.
And they deliver.
Oh, God. See, that's really dangerous when places deliver, and they're 24 hours.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's dangerous.
On top of that, all you have to do is click on cakes, and it's basically over. It's over because it starts off almond joy cake, peanut butter cake, California cheesecake, chocolate mousse cake, chocolate suicide cake, Coca-Cola cake, coconut cake, death by chocolate, German chocolate, Hawaiian wedding cake, Heath bar, hummingbird cake, Italian cream, Milky Way, $1 million cake, mint chocolate chip, M&M, New York blackout cake, Oreo, peanut butter, Reese's. I'm just scrolling through as fast as I can and throwing these out. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
The sampler cake looks adorable. Yes, they have red velvet. And finally, they have 7 sins cake. So
what is 7 sins cake?
7 different types of chocolate make up this delicate and pleasing layer cake. Yeah.
Wow.
So what you're saying is you'd like to come to Chattanooga, right?
Yeah.
6-layer buttercream, Snickers cake, strawberry shortcake, tiramisu cake, wonderful Italian tradition, coffee-soaked cake layers surrounded by a meringue of beautiful sponge cake and filled with coffee-flavored cream.
Oh, God, that's amazing. I love coffee stuff.
My favorite right now is the turtle cake. I love it. Layers of devil's food cake are smothered with delectable caramel, chocolate chips, pecans, and folded into an amazing mousse filling. The cake is iced with chocolate fudge and caramel, garnished with vanilla mousse stars and pecans.
Whew.
Now you can take slices of multiple different cakes, or you can have your own frickin' cake. Yeah, they do delivery, they do dine-in, they do catering, and they do takeout, and they're 24/7.
It's giving me like a little bit of anxiety because I'm like, they have so many options. How do you choose? How do you choose just one flavor, especially since if the slices are so big?
Well, I mean, if you're going to Chattanooga, you'll be there for multiple days.
So
try one every day. But I highly recommend the Chattanooga Aquarium as well. It's beautiful.
Awesome. Well,
Rock City Falls is awesome as well. That the Ruby Falls was where the Ruby Falls in Chattanooga is where my mom and my stepdad went for their honeymoon.
Oh, cool.
I know that's pretty cool. So, I mean, if you're looking for a place to just kind of be just kind of chilling out and enjoying the scenery and, like, I don't know how active you are, but you do say naps, so I'm on board with that. But I know some people like to go out and go, like, hiking and exploring and stuff like that.
No, I enjoy that stuff, too. Just, coupled with a nap.
Yeah. Ruby Falls is very good for that.
Cool. Yeah, because I've never been to that part of Tennessee before, so
that's actually a nice place for you, I think you and your husband to just kind of get lost in and explore and enjoy. Also, the wildlife over there isn't big and scary. There's not a lot of bears in Chattanooga.
That is good news.
Yeah, I'm close to like the Cumberland Caverns and several state parks, so we're kind of cool on that. But for the most part, I think we've been to them maybe once. Yeah. And we're like, nah, we're good. The other thing that I was a little bit kind of bummed out about, like, because A-Con happened this weekend. Several people that I already know that work at FUNimation were there, and I work on abridged stuff as well. Like, I do abridged parodies of different anime, and one of the ones that we're working on right now is Log Horizon. And Jade, God, I love Jade. She's always adorable and fun.
She is.
And in Log Horizon, she played Akatsuki, who is one of the main characters, is this cute, adorable, like, tiny female ninja kind of character. And it's so funny, and I'm like 3 people from my abridged crew were at A-Kon to talk about, the abridging stuff. And I'm like, did you go see Jade? And they're like, no. And I'm like, I told you guys who she was and that she was there. You didn't even... Wow, you're some horrible people.
What's wrong with you?
I go, what's wrong with you?
Funny.
The real Akatsuki was there. I'm like, did our fake Akatsuki at least go talk to the real Akatsuki? I don't know. I can't get a hold of her. She's sick.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. We went off tangent a little bit there.
That's okay.
But I figure you probably don't have much time left, do you?
I do need to get going probably at around 3:30.
Well, then, in that case, what should we talk about to close off this interview?
It's up to you. You can give me a topic, and I can go off of whatever else you're interested in hearing about.
Okay. So E3 happened this weekend, so I guess we'll end on, like, any kind of gaming stuff. Have you done any kind of work with gaming? Or is there any games that you like playing?
So I myself am not a gamer because I'm just god-awful at it, and I'm the type of person who feels that it's not really that fun to do things that are really bad. But I do play characters in a couple of games.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I play Neath in Smite.
Oh!
Was that like a good reaction? Yeah, so and then I've done, some of her skins, but what's, a little upsetting is, I think I might have been studying abroad in London at one point when they needed one of the skins for Neath, and so they used someone else. I have no idea who. And so there are a couple of her skins that aren't me, but people think are me, and they sound really bad. And I'm like, no, that's not me. It's not my voice.
I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. Yeah.
Most of my stuff is like stinger lines for commercials and stuff. That's all I get. Like, the new HTC Resound, now with Beats Audio built in for the Verizon 4G LTE network. And basically anything that side effects may include that I've voiced, I've immediately wiped from my brain because I don't want to remember those.
Oh, yeah, no.
Those are super scary.
Yeah, very scary, very scary.
And I've had people come up and ask me, they're like, you've done stuff for commercials. I go, yeah. And they're like, do you really talk that fast? I was like, hell no. Do you think we could say any of those words clearly and coherently?
Right.
That fast?
That's funny.
I was like, have you been at an auction? Yeah. Did the auctioneers talk really fast? Yeah. Were you able to understand every single word? No. Exactly. Good stuff.
Yeah. But then back to the gaming thing. I also play Cassie in Paladins.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what games you actually like watching other people play. Since you yourself don't play, do you like watching people play?
Well, I mean, I once babysat a girl who loved watching, like, gameplay of things, and for me, I had a hard time getting into it because I didn't have any, like, previous knowledge of the games, right? And so
it depends on the game. It really does depend on the game, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've never really tried other than, like, watching over the shoulder of this girl that I babysat for a little bit, and I honestly was like, I'm so confused. I don't understand.
If you want to watch some gameplay, and if you want to watch somebody play a game, I would seriously suggest either checking out some of the more light stuff. Like, oh my God, check out the new Zelda because that just looks amazing. And then I mean, my
husband's probably going to play that. My husband's a big gamer.
Yes.
He's like horrified that I don't know anything about any of this stuff.
I'm driving up there. We're going to be buddies. I'm going to be like, all right, let's play some games. Yeah. No, the other thing I would probably say for you to check out is just because of how cool it is, in January and in June or July. I think it's probably going to be July, but just look up Games Done Quick.
Okay.
Yeah. It is this community of gamers who speedrun games. Basically, they beat the game in the fastest time that they possibly can.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
Well, they have these 24-hour, week-long marathons that they do on Twitch, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's a bunch of different gamers playing all these different games at different times. And it's 24 hours, and it's a full 7 days for the whole thing. And they raise money for charities.
Oh, that's so cool.
And
that's awesome.
Awesome Games Done Quick is in the winter, and they raise money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. And Summer Games Done Quick, of course, is in the summer, where they raise money for Doctors Without Borders.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's been going on for, I think it's almost a decade now, but they're always, now they're consistently getting 1.5 million in donations to send out every time they do one.
That's amazing.
So even if you don't know much about the games that they're playing, you don't really have to, because they're going to beat them that quickly anyway, and they're going to skip all the story.
Perfect.
So, and people, and you're going to see people going, whoa, at certain times. So you're going to be like, what happened? He just did in that one thing. He skipped about 30 minutes of gameplay. And you're like, that's crazy. And that's all you need to know to be on the same level as everybody else.
Perfect.
It's like, yeah, exactly. What's really funny is, like, I love when they play horror games. Because people genuinely, like, they have to do them slow and everything, and these guys just break the horror games. Like, there's nothing scary about them when they play these horror games on Speedrun. They're just like, wham, they go through it. They're too busy talking about, like, the mechanics and talking about hitboxes, and I'm like, there's nothing to be afraid of anymore, because you've just basically broken everything down. They got a donation incentive to the Nintendo 64 version of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time.
Uh-huh.
They beat the game in 20 minutes.
Oh my god!
Because there was a glitch. There's a glitch that, like, if you do, like, these certain things, it will skip the cutscene that you're supposed to be going in and go to the next cutscene in the numerical order that it is set up in the game. And that next cutscene in numerical order is a cutscene that basically puts you at the end of the game. You've got a couple of things to do, and then you beat the game.
Wow.
So this guy, as Child Link, beat the game, killed Ganon as Child Link, and I was like, what?
That's great.
22 minutes, you beat the entire game.
That's nuts.
Right? So I love that, because they just come in and they just wreck my childhood. Because I'm like, I spent hours doing this.
Yeah, I can only imagine that would be
the current original Mario world record holder is 3 minutes to beat the game.
What?
Yeah.
How is that possible? That's
beat the game in 3 minutes. Yeah.
That's insane.
It was on Stephen Colbert, because he was like, can you beat this in the time that it takes me to make a Hot Pocket and eat it? And he was like, I probably could. Yeah, they were promoting the Awesome Games Done Quick, actually. So it's nice to see that it's getting mainstream coverage and stuff like that. But it's really, really cool stuff, and it goes for a great cause. That's how we'll end it, is me telling you about that.
Perfect. I love it.
Yay!